Okay, so AI is everywhere, right? It's changing our world at a crazy speed. But have you ever stopped to think about what's actually powering it all? Behind that smooth digital experience, there's this massive physical world of data centers, and they are thirsty. They need tons of energy and water. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the AI boom by looking at one of the biggest players in the game, Amazon.
So to get inside their heads, let's just start with what Amazon themselves are saying. This is from their 2024 sustainability report. They call AI a transformative technology that we believe will reinvent virtually every customer experience. I mean, wow. They're basically saying this is going to change everything. They are all in, investing a ton of money to build this future. But that raises a huge question, right? How on earth do you power a revolution like that? Well, to fuel this massive AI future, Amazon has set some seriously ambitious green goals. It's not just about plopping down more data centers. They're trying to do it in a way that aligns with this huge corporate push to decarbonize their entire operation. And their official strategy, it's a lot. They're really trying to hit this from every possible angle. It's not as simple as just, building a few solar farms. They're leaning on their thousands of suppliers to get on board with their own green plans. They're teaming up with other big companies to try and shift the whole industry. And of course, they're looking at their own stuff, their buildings, their delivery trucks, the whole shebang. It is a massive, top-down mission. And this slide really shows you just how big they're thinking. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got the stuff we know, wind and solar farms. We're talking 621 projects all over the world. That's huge. But then, they're also placing bets on the future, signing deals to help develop these next-gen small modular nuclear reactors, or SMRs. So they're not just picking one path, they're building this really diverse, really powerful energy playbook. Okay, so you've got all this energy. Where does it actually go? Well, it all gets funneled into the beating heart of the cloud, the data center. Think of these as these huge, sprawling, high-tech warehouses. They're the places that literally store our digital lives and train those incredible AI models that are changing everything. Now, to figure out how good these buildings are at what they do, there's this key number you gotta know. It's called PUE, which stands for Power Usage Effectiveness. It's actually a pretty simple idea. It's a ratio that asks how much power is going to the actual computers versus how much is getting used for everything else, like keeping the place from melting. The perfect score is a 1.0. That means literally zero energy is wasted on overhead. So, how does Amazon's cloud division, AWS, measure up? Well, their global PUE in 2024 was 1.15. And let me tell you, in this industry, that is incredibly good. It puts them right at the top. And they get there by doing some really smart stuff, designing their own custom computer chips and using these super innovative cooling systems. It's all about squeezing every last bit of work out of the power they use. But it's not just about electricity, right? It's also about water. Data centers are seriously thirsty buildings. A lot of that water gets used for cooling, basically acting like a giant air conditioner by evaporating heat away from all those powerful servers. And according to Amazon's own numbers, they're getting way better at this. They've seen a 40% improvement in their water usage effectiveness since just 2021. So the trend is definitely heading in the right direction. They're using a lot less water to get the same job done. Okay, so they're super efficient with power, they're getting better with water. What's next? Well, they're doubling down, big time. AWS is dropping a staggering $11 billion on new data centers in Indiana, all to fuel this AI explosion. On paper, it sounds great, right? It's a story of progress, investment, jobs. But this is where the story gets complicated. Because when you stop looking at the corporate reports and start talking to people on the ground, a totally different picture starts to take shape. Yeah, this is where our story really pivots. Forget the glossy sustainability report for a second. Let's go to a local town hall meeting, because the vibe there, it's completely different. Just listen to this. It's a quote from a resident in Indiana posted on Reddit. DCs don't create jobs and will make our utilities expensive and frail. Say no to these DCs. See? Forget all that talk about transformative technology. For people here, the worry is way more immediate. It's about their power bills going up, their grid being strained, and not even getting good jobs out of it. This is the heart of the conflict. So let's dig into what's really bothering people. When you listen to community organizers and folks who live there, you hear the same things over and over. They feel like the whole process has been secretive. There are all these non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs, flying around, and they're genuinely scared about what these huge data centers will do to their local power grid and to their water, especially a resource as vital as Lake Michigan.
I think the real issue here is this feeling that they're being left in the dark, that they have no say in what's happening to their community. Okay, but let's be fair and bring Amazon's side back into this. If you look at their report, they point out that in 2024, they actually returned 4.3 billion liters of water to communities around the world. They do this through these replenishment projects, things like restoring watersheds or helping with clean water access. But here's the clash. That huge global number just doesn't land the same way when you're living there. For some residents, it's not about replenishment at all. It feels like extraction. There's this strong belief that the reason all these tech giants are showing up in Indiana is simple, because we have water. They feel like their most precious resource is being targeted.
So what's happening in Indiana isn't just a local story. It kind of forces us to pull the camera back and ask a much bigger question, one that affects all of us. As we build this incredible AI future, what's the true cost? And really, it boils down to two completely different stories, doesn't it? You have the corporate vision, this shiny future of sustainable progress and amazing innovation that's going to lift everybody up. But then you have the local reality, which for some people is just a story of fear about their environment and frustration with the process they feel totally shut out of. And this is the key disconnect, right? Even if a company is super efficient, the sheer scale of this AI boom means the total amount of energy and water being used is still just staggering. And just to make things even more complex, Amazon's involvement isn't just about the physical stuff, the buildings, the power, the water. They're also part of the US AI Safety Institute. That means they're in the room for those critical conversations about how to make AI safe and secure for everyone. So they're wrestling with the big ethical questions too, not just the environmental ones.
Which really brings us to the final critical question. We call it the cloud, but it's not some fluffy thing up in the sky. It's real, it's on the ground, sitting in communities just like the ones in Indiana. And as AI gets woven deeper and deeper into the fabric of our lives, the challenge for all of us is going to be this. How do we balance the incredible, world-changing promise of this technology with its very real, very physical price tag?